Hey everybody, I wanted to jump on tonight and talk about one of the 9 muses, Melpomene. I am doing a live Zoom all about her Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is, I believe, the 26th. She is the muse of tragedy in Greek mythology. She is heavily connected to things like mirror magic, funerary rites, water divination, trauma and shadow work. So those of you in my sacred sexuality class, she is part of accessing that golden shadow that we talk about. She's also attached to mediumship, grief, loss, and even mermaids and sirens, if you can believe it. So she has a wide range of skills and divinatory assets that we can tap into through working and forming a relationship with her. This is considered Hellenic Polytheism, so I am going to be breaking that down in the Zoom on Thursday night as well. It's also referred to as Hellenism or Hellenismos. What it basically is in a nutshell, it's a modern revival of the ancient Greek religions. So it's very interesting. We do the muse work every single month. I do the muse service every single month, and that is actually a form of Hellenic paganism. Excuse me. So this is characterized by the worship of the Olympian gods and other deities of the Greek pantheon. It does encompass a huge range of practices, so there isn't one just defined route here when working with the muses or any of the other Greek personas. There is the aspect of strict reconstruction of ancient rituals to more eclectic approaches where we're kind of incorporating and encompassing more modern approaches to working with these deities. So I wanted to talk about some key aspects of Hellenic polytheism. So basically followers do believe in and worship multiple gods and goddesses. So very similar to omnism, the omnistic approach a lot of you who work with me take. So this doesn't just include the 12 Olympians, Zeus, Hera, Poseidon, but it does encompass many other deities, spirits, even like the heroes and the nymphs and all of these, I wouldn't say lower level, but they're just not written about as much. So some practitioners, every practitioner is different. And I encourage that you should be practicing what's in alignment for you. But some practitioners do strive to recreate those ancient Greek religious practices as closely as possible, in accordance with all of the historical and archaeological data that we have. So diehards will research that. They will try to mimic that as best they can in the here and now. So that's one way to approach it. Others do adapt these historical and archaeological practices that we have documentation of to more contemporary practices, more contemporary contexts, incorporating modern pagan influence, and not just keeping it in those very black and white lines that archaeology has provided us. Now, another interesting thing here is there is no central authority or dogma. So, excuse me, when we're looking at Hellenic polytheism, it lacks a centralized church or, any kind of like single set of doctrines. So, worshipers are able, practitioners are able and encouraged to really do their own studying, to do their own ancient kind of research into ancient sources and to cultivate, their own practices based on what they've discovered in relationship to where they're at right now in life. What does their practice look like? What are they working towards? Which of the gods and goddesses align to them, which of the practices align to them. Alignment's always important in spirit work, regardless of how you're approaching it and what deities you're working with. So there is an emphasis though on ritual and offerings. So, in ritual worship, we do include offerings to the gods, the deities. That's also a central part of Hellenic polytheism. So there is that focus also on reciprocity. I always say that word wrong, but it's offerings made in exchange for divine blessings, basically. There is a bit of veneration there of ancestors, both physical and spiritual ancestors. Those are usually honored in the services as well. Hellenic polytheism is very open and inclusive. It welcomes everyone who wants to learn and who wants to participate and develop practice here. Even though the interpretations are varied, it's good to have that diversity. So, there are these diverse interpretations and practices within Hellenic polytheism, but that reflects the range of historical and cultural influences, which is a good thing that should be embraced. Now, Hellenic paganism, also a very diverse path with different approaches. That is going to also include that kind of reconstructionist, revivalist, and eclectic approach. So when you're looking at Hellenic pagans, there is an emphasis on piety, reverence for the gods, and living a life really aligned with Hellenic values. So when we're looking at key aspects in Hellenic paganism, worship of the gods, followers do worship the ancient Greek deities, including the Olympians like Zeus, Hera, Athena, Apollo. Now, they're also going to incorporate other deities, like I said, nature spirits, nymphs, heroes, even chthonic deities like Hades, right? So in paganism, there is this aim to closely follow the religious practices of ancient Greece based on those historical and archaeological, data points and research. Now, revivalists, they're going to draw on the historical information. This approach, is also open to incorporating more modern interpretation and innovation, whereas eclectic is going to combine elements of both ancient and modern practice. So again, no central authority or doctrine. Hellenic paganism doesn't have, a single unified set of beliefs or practices. There's kind of like this wide range of interpretations and, again, individual expressions within the community. So, of course, there is that emphasis on piety and ritual. Practices often involve prayer, offerings, rituals performed in honor of the gods. So that's called xenia, which is a concept emphasizing hospitality and guest host relationships, which is also a core value. Relationships with the gods are a core value. So in Hellenic paganism, it is a devotional religion where the followers do believe in that, again, reciprocal relationship with the gods, offering gifts and prayers, in exchange for blessings. Again, this is not a closed practice. Hellenism is not an ethnic religion. It's open to anyone, who really wishes to explore and participate. It's not as syncretic like other religions. There's no, how do I explain this? Hellenic paganism can be influenced by other traditions, but it is not a syncretic religion where like different deities are considered the same, for example.